I'm a dad. I'm a dad. D-A-D-D-Y. 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 I'm a dad. Dad. I'm a dad. D-A-D-D-Y. 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 I'm a dad. All right.
All right.
And we are back.
We're back. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. Appreciate the support in the last videos.
If this is first time, what should we tell them? If you haven't seen the other ones, this is just us sharing our dad journey.
Yep, that's it. Not experts by any means, but we're going to give you our experiences, see if you relate in any way.
Yeah.
So today's topic, we're going to talk about Dad's Name Day.
Yep. So naming our children, significance, stories, nicknames, things like that.
Yeah, how they came about. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll start, Mr. Three-Piece here. So obviously we'll start at the beginning with baby numero uno. Full name, Isabella Tice Gambles.
Social security number?
Yeah.
You have to ask for later.
Yeah, if you subscribe.
Yep.
So Isabella, first name, right? I actually named Isabella, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was my choice. I named her. We kind of did some back and forth. You know, we shared the ideas, but I ultimately decided on Isabella. I think the name Scarlett was thrown out there too.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked Isabella. I just thought it was always pretty. Nothing real significant about it. But her middle name, my wife was like, well, if you name the first, I get the middle.
Yeah.
No big deal. I'm not thinking too much about it. Like, how bad could it be? So whatever.
Famous last words.
Yeah. So Isabella Tice, right? What does that mean?
Where did that even come from?
Where did it come from? I'll tell you where it came from. She's named after one of her cousins. What's significant about this cousin?
Tell me.
Nothing.
Nothing?
There is nothing significant.
Not like a godparent? Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay.
You know, it's not in remembrance of him. He didn't pass away. There's nothing significant.
He's just hanging out like...
He is a cousin. So if anybody in Regan's family is watching and listening, if you're a cousin, be offended because she just randomly picked this one and he got the honor of being my daughter's middle name. So...
Just always like the sound of it, right?
Starting a family feud right now.
Oh,
so
the war.
Isabella Tice. That's simply how it came about.
It's still a nice name.
I still like it. I mean, she's my daughter. I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, you could say that with a dad voice. You know, like get in here right now.
Yeah. I can still feel pretty manly about it. I'm not too worried. So, nickname for her though. So, I've always given the nicknames kind of natural. She just became my Bella Boo. So Isabella's Bella. Bella Boo just seemed natural for her. And she's rolled with it ever since. No complaints. So that's my Bella Boo. And that's numero uno.
She is a boo.
That's true.
My first one, Benjamin William Tasker. And like you, we had some disagreements. So with our first kid, we didn't know it was going to be a boy.
Okay.
We chose not to find out. So we had 2 names fitted for a child that was coming, boy or girl. Ironically, the name Ben was chosen because my wife's grandmother's name was Benevenuta.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Is that French?
It's very foreign. I think
German.
It's not. Yeah, I think it's Austrian.
Austrian.
Austrian. I think is what it is.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I'm sure she'll fact check me.
Yeah.
It's either German or Austrian. One of the two.
Okay. Very close to Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, she was very close with her and her grandpa. So we were gonna name the boy Ben. Now it's a girl's name translated into a boy's name.
Sure.
If it was a girl, we were gonna name him Eleonora after my grandmother. Her, I guess, Nora for short.
Yeah.
But I was really close with my grandma. She watched me every day until she passed away while my parents worked. So there was a lot of namesake going on inside of the choices. But came out a boy named Ben. The middle name is William, which is my father's middle name, which is also my middle name. So he's got a heritage in middle name. And he looked like a Ben when he came out. Like he looked like he was just going to be a very Benjamin type of person. You know, you think of those guys who are just kind of, oh yeah, that's Ben. Yeah, sure. Never really saw him as anything else. Yeah. My nickname for him is just B. I just use his first letter. Won't work for the second kid, but I can shout B, sound important, and he'll come in. Yeah. He'll hear me over whatever he's doing. Yeah. Which is important. But he's always been B. Yeah. A little B man.
So the full name one more time.
Benjamin William Tasker.
That is a very professional name.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Very professional.
Put that on a resume.
At the very least, he would have been a general in the Continental Army.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of those two things.
Yes, with the mustache and everything.
Everything. No, that's
probably
sweet.
would dress up as that.
Halloween's around the corner.
Yeah, like
around
that.
The corner. Awesome, very nice. So then on to number 2 for me, my boy, right? So this is where I probably should have. I should have bit the bullet on the first one, right?
I love this story.
Because I had to allow her to name number 2, which was the boy. Yeah. Right? So if you're thinking, okay, well, you wanted a junior. That's not the case for me. I never wanted a junior. I just always thought the name, Josh Jr., JJ was just kind of corny in my opinion.
Okay,
I didn't really.
I don't want a Tim Jr. That sounds terrible. Yeah, I just don't want that.
I wasn't a junior kind of guy. And for me personally, I always felt like my kids should have their own name, their own legacy.
Yes.
Have their own way in life, not be looked at as my son specifically, but then their name first, then me like if I come up.
Build their own story.
Yeah, correct. So I had pushed a little bit to get a little more input on this one. Mm-hmm. I was kind of being reasonable. But I had my heart set on one name.
I know.
One name.
Tell him the name.
Oh, man.
So good.
Leonidas. And if you're wondering where that came from, you are correct.
It is.
300 King Leonidas.
The man's badass. I mean, I don't blame you.
I was obsessed with that movie. I don't know, man. Watching him Spartan kick dude in the chest,
you're like, I want my son to do that to someone someday.
I seen my son in the hallways just Spartan, pow,
You're late for 6th period. Get out of my face.
I just seen that. I was like, man, who would fuck with a kid named Leonidas?
Nobody.
Nobody. So I thought it was dope. I was strong. She did not. So
your second son's name is not Leonidas.
Not Leonidas. So it's like, well, who we gonna call him? Leo? I'm like, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so ultimately she did get to pick the name. His full name is Roman Isaac Gambles. Roman, where'd that come from, right? If you think Leonidas were kind of staying with the Roman Empire type of deal and, that time period. That. Yeah. Nah, that ain't it. She named him after her crush.
What?
Roman Reigns, the wrestler.
Oh.
If you don't know who that is,
Google it.
Look him up.
Yep.
And I don't blame why she's his crush. I mean,
okay.
Look him up. But ironically enough, he kind of looks like him too. So
that's weird.
Yeah, we're going to need to do some backstory on that. But she swears, she's like, no, that's not why. But around this time, we were big in WWE, so we were watching a lot of it. So I know the truth. So ultimately, he got the name Roman. I did pick the middle name Isaac. Okay. I thought it sounded good together. But ulterior motive was I was going to call him. His initial would have been Rig, R-I-G.
Oh yes,
he's going to be talking about this. His nickname is going to be Big Rig, right? I was going to bulk him up, put him on.
He would be a Big Rig.
Think about that as a football running back. You know what I mean?
You want to stand in front of Big Rig? No.
Yeah, like come on. That shit just seemed like magic in the making. But he's pretty small right now.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good today. Hopefully, we'll check back in a few years to see if that's changed.
He's got a lot of time.
A lot of time. Nickname for him though. So I always called myself, Dad Dog. I was the big dog, so I was the dad dog. So he was Rome Dog, right?
Oh, I love it.
Rome Dog, and that's what I call him. And I call him too for about a year until finally one day he comes up to me. He goes, "So what's up, Rome Dog?" He goes, "That's not me name." I said, "What is your name?" And he's got a little speech impediment, so it's another story. He goes, "Me name is Woman." I said,
like woman?
Woman, because he can't say ours.
Whoa, man.
So me name is Woman. So I was like, all right. So I'm like, dang, I didn't think it was that bad of a nickname.
No, I don't. I like it.
Because I'm thinking about when I had a nickname when I was a kid, right? What my dad called me. So I have an older brother. Both of us had nicknames, right?
Okay.
So if you ever see my brother, bigger version of me.
He is.
Especially back in the day. He was a bigger version of me. So my dad always called him Truck because he was built like a damn Chevy truck, right?
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
You know, like, all right, that's not bad.
He's
Like,
a Ford Bronco.
yeah, you could mess some stuff up, right? So what was a cool nickname I got?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. So if it was a truck theme, right?
Sure. Truck
And
theme.
you're a little truck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. Are you Tonka?
No.
Dang.
That would have been okay. No, we actually skipped the truck theme at that point. And I was Axe.
Just axe?
Axe.
Any reason?
My head was shaped like an axe.
No.
The point of an axe.
No.
So my son's like, he hates his nickname. I'm like, you aren't named after a fucking lumberjack tool. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, whatever. You don't like it, you don't like it. So
your dad did not do you
at all.
Solid.
At all.
Mm-mm.
So horrible nicknames. I got him beat on that one. But there's number 2.
I swear, I think that's not something that you think about when you like give your kid a nickname. Like, how much are they going to resent being called Axe for the rest of their life?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be careful with what you're calling your kids, I guess.
Very true.
So my second one, my newbie, it's weird because we've put a lot of thought into Ben's name. Like, it's got to be named after a grandparent or something like that. And then with Luke, by the way, his name is Luke Nicholas Tasker. His first name has no significance at all. Like, none.
Yeah.
So like, it was completely out the window. I don't know what happened. I think we were talking about potential names in front of Ben.
Right.
So we were like, what about, I was adamant about Flynn. I wanted to name him Flynn.
Okay.
It's an Irish name, and it is the surname for my mother's maiden name.
Okay.
So there's a lot of Flynns in our family. It's a pretty common, like, Irish name. And I was like, okay, Flynn, I like that. Sounds good. And my son was like, no. And the one we had thrown out was Luke. And I think originally Nikki had said something, made a joke about how Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is Ben Kenobi in Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker are like best buddies.
Right.
And he heard it and he was like, yep, he's Luke. And then we tried to change it before he was born. And he was like, no, he's Luke. That is not the reason we named our son Luke. But our son Ben would not let us change it to something else.
Huh. So, question for me then, because that's surprising.
Yeah.
Because, correct me if I not remember this correctly, your bachelor party, right?
Yeah.
We did paintball and a bunch of stuff. And then that night, we were going to play games. And was it not a Star Wars themed night?
It was, in fact, a Star Wars night.
And I was like, oh, you're big in Star Wars. I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, I am pretty decent in Star Wars.
So there's no correlation?
No.
Wow.
No, I like Star Wars. I've seen all the movies. Like, I do that stuff, but I'm not going to name my child after Star Wars. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, why would you name your kid after a movie?
Yeah.
Like Leonidas or some dumb shit.
I mean, well, if my movie was someone getting kicked in the chest into a hole, and
abyss.
I know people are going to say something in the comments about it, but no. That's just, but then it was like a moment of where we were like, we have to find significance in the name that we're stuck with now. So Nikki did some Googling. She found out that Luke means... its Anglo-Saxon background is like light bringer or something like that. So she was like real sad for a long time. This pregnancy was real hard, and she was like, maybe he'll just bring me light and make me happy. And then she's coming back into her Catholic roots. She's a Catholic girl, and apparently Luke and Paul, which is one of the apostles, were like besties. Paul is the name of my father, who never actually got to meet Luke. He died the year that Luke was born. So that she's like trying to, tie the family
Make the
together.
correlation. Right.
And then Nicholas is her namesake, Nikki. Yeah. But actually her dad's name is Nicholas. So he's named after her dad, named after her name, Nick is the traveling name for her side of the family. Right. So some significance that Luke just kind of fell into it. Yeah. And it was too late to change it at that point.
And you're sticking with, there's no correlation. Luke, the bringer of light, who also wields a lightsaber.
Okay, yeah. You know what?
No correlation.
I really don't need you calling my whole life into question here.
I'm just saying, I don't know much about Star Wars, but I know those two things.
I know lightsabers.
I know that much.
Well, you know what? Maybe he'll be a nerd. And we'll get away with it. But.
So I know Luke is still a very baby.
Yeah, very much.
Any nicknames in the making?
Yeah, okay. So we got a couple right now.
Okay.
We have been calling him Squeak. He is a very noisy baby. Like, you pick him up and he'll... or something like that. Oh, you can't not do it, right? When we're in the car and driving to school, this is just between me and Ben, Because I take both of them to school, and in the background you could just hear him And when my son was little, when Ben was little, a friend of ours used to call him Benjamillion.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a rapper. It's like a little baby rapper.
Yeah.
Never had any musical talent.
Right.
So I called him his sidekick. I was like, this is Benjamillion and Lil Grony.
Oh.
They're going to drop their hot album sometime in 2024. You know, look out for it.
Yep.
And so I've been calling him Lil Grony whenever he starts making those noises.
Okay.
Nothing like serious. Nothing that like he's going to take with him into the future, I hope.
And he's little to give you reaction if it's going to stick or not.
Yeah, the personality hasn't really come in yet. So I'll figure something out. No. But to hit on your namesake, so your name was Axe. That's terrible, and I am so sorry for you. Mm-hmm. Mine was always Tiny Tim.
Okay.
From the Christmas Story.
Ooh.
Like to the point where I got cast in our school's musical without ever trying out for it. Oh. Just because of and I was tiny and skinny. Like it was like that's the worst. Yeah. That's the worst. I tried to turn it into like own the name in my teenage years. Just never hit. Oh man. You know? Like I hear people call me Timmy and I'm like, I feel like they think I'm 6. Yeah. But I'm in my 30s. Right. Like I just can't. Or
you're like Timmy from South Park.
Yeah. There's just no good connotation in my head of it. Yeah. And I guess that's something that we carry, you know?
True. So names matter. I guess that's what we come up with.
Yeah. We got one more to do.
We do?
Yeah. You have a third.
I do have a third. Ooh, I should edit that out. Isley Monroe Gambles.
Monroe.
That's the Isley Monroe Gambles. The name Isley is where you think it came from. You're contagious, touch me, baby. Give me what you got. Because that's appropriate for a baby girl. Sure. That was more my wife's.
Are you passing the blame for that, or is it?
No, it's 100% her name. Okay. At this point, third child, I got a boy, I got a girl.
You're done. The third one could come out and you wouldn't even care.
Whatever. Okay. It's a baby. So I was like, she was stuck on it. I didn't have anything better. I did like the name Monroe. So I did get the name Monroe in there. But yeah, she named him after the Isley brothers.
I love that.
And I call her my Isley bear because she's built like a little bear.
She is built like a little bear.
And can get an attitude like one. So that's Isley Bear. And
I love that. That's any significance for the Monroe? I mean, I know Isley's no? Okay.
None at all. None.
Just like the sound?
Yeah. See, I just like the way it sounded.
I'm glad it's not just me who's like, sometimes you don't need something. You just need a name that sounds good.
No, I never was a deep thinker in the sense of names. I don't think Regan is either, considering she named him after a random cousin. But
fair enough.
Other than that, I mean, if it sounds good, I'm good with it. Other than that, that's it, man. She's my Isley bear.
She is
number 3.
I love it.
So interesting though. That's
2 different backgrounds. I like that.
Yeah, somebody who put a lot of thought into it, and somebody who watched movies and listened to soundtracks.
You're cultured.
There you have it.
I like it.
There you have it. We want to hear your stories.
Yes, please.
So comments below. Leave us. You got any crazy name stories?
Even if it's your name.
Yeah.
Why were you named the way you were?
Any meaning behind it? Mm-hmm. Things like that. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Please, as always, like, subscribe, share if you like the content. Anything you want to talk about, leave it in the comments.
Yeah. We'll be back with another one.
All right. Thanks, guys.